Without them we're done. 50 beneficial insects. I never met anyone who looks at a patch of dirt the way Lily does. Where most of us see weeds, she sees negotiations. Where we hear buzzing, she hears a ledger of debts and gifts between plants, soil, and sky. Lily loves discoveries. Not the loud kind with headlines, but the quiet kind that happen when you kneel in grass long enough for the world to forget you're there. Last summer, she handed me a notebook. No dates, no sketches of herself, just page after page of insects. Not pests. Partners. People think insects are background noise, she told me. But they're the stage crew. Without them, the play collapses. So I followed her. And what I found became these 50 truths about insects that keep nature working. I'll tell them through her eyes, because they're hers more than mine. The pollinators, carrying life on their legs. 1. Bees vote with their bodies. Lily showed me how honeybees do a waggle dance to tell the hive where flowers are. The angle of the dance matches the sun. The duration tells distance. It's democracy with wings. Without that dance, apples, almonds, and blueberries would vanish from shelves. 2. A single bee can visit 5,000 flowers in one day. I watched Lily count. She lost track at 1,200. Imagine doing your job 5,000 times before sunset, she whispered. 1/3 of the food we eat exists because bees don't take coffee breaks. 3. Bumblebees buzz pollinate. Some flowers, like tomatoes, lock pollen inside. Lily pressed a tuning fork to a bloom once. Nothing. Then a bumblebee landed, unhinged its flight muscles, and vibrated at middle C. A pollen exploded out like dust from a shaken rug. Farmers now use electric toothbrushes to mimic it, but Lily says the bees invented it first. 4. Butterflies taste with their feet. Lily let a monarch step onto her finger. She's deciding if you're a leaf, she said. Their legs have chemoreceptors. If it tastes like milkweed, they lay eggs. No taste, no future caterpillars. No caterpillars, fewer songbirds. 5. Moths work the night shift. While bees sleep, moths like the yucca moth pollinate plants that open only after dark. Lily calls them the janitors of dusk. One moth, one yucca plant, neither can survive without the other. That's a 40 million year contract. 6. Hoverflies are the understudies. Everyone thanks bees. Lily thanks hoverflies. They mimic wasps to avoid predators, but they carry pollen without stingers or hives. In cold springs when bees are sluggish, hoverflies keep orchards alive. 7. Fig wasps die for figs. Each fig is an inside-out flower. The only way it gets pollinated is if a female fig wasp crawls inside, lays eggs, and dies. Her body is absorbed by the figure. Lily broke one open and said, "This is fruit and funeral." Without wasps, no figs. 8. Chocolate needs midges. Lily loves this fact. The cacao flower is so small, only a tiny midge called Forcipomia can pollinate it. No midges, no chocolate. She told a pastry chef once. He now leaves a corner of his garden wild for the chocolate makers. 9. Beetles pollinated the first flowers. Before bees existed, beetles did the work. Magnolias still use them. Lily calls beetles the original matchmakers. They're clumsy, eat some petals, but 130 million years of service earns forgiveness. 10. Sweat bees are native insurance. Honeybees are European imports in many places. Sweat bees are local. Lily points them out on sidewalks, metallic green, smaller than a grain of rice. They don't make honey, but they pollinate native plants that honeybees ignore. The decomposers, turning death into dirt. 11. Dung beetles bury the problem. Lily took me to a pasture. Where cows grazed, the ground was clean. Dung beetles, she said. One beetle can bury 250 times its weight in one night. They roll waste underground, where it becomes soil. Without them, pastures would drown in their own refuse. 12. Termites are soil engineers. We fear them in houses. Lily respects them in forests. Their tunnels let air and water into hard ground. Their guts host microbes that digest wood. When they build mounds, they move tons of earth, more than earthworms in some ecosystems. 13. Carrion beetles run the morgue. A dead mouse appears. By morning, it's gone. Lily once filmed it. Beetles dug beneath the body, it sank, they laid eggs. The larvae eat, the soil heals. They're nature's crime scene cleanup. 14. Springtails till the microscopic world. You've never seen them, but they're under your feet, 6 per square inch of soil. Lily calls them soccer balls with legs. They eat mold and dead leaves, then excrete crumbs that build soil structure. No springtails, no fluffy garden beds. 15. Woodlice aren't insects, but they help insects help. Lily corrected me, pill bugs are crustaceans. Still, they shred dead plants so fungi and bacteria can finish the job. She says the forest floor is a potluck, and everyone brings a dish. The predators, keeping balance without pesticides. 16. Ladybugs are aphid accountants. One ladybug eats 5,000 aphids in its life. Lily releases them in her garden like tiny red auditors. If aphids were taxes, she said, ladybugs keep the system honest. 17. Praying mantises see in 3D. Lily held one on a stick. It turned its head 180 degrees, tracking my finger. They're the only insects known to see depth like us. They ambush flies, moths, even small frogs. Gardeners love them. Pests fear them. 18. Lacewing larvae are aphid lions. Adults are delicate and green. Their babies are monsters with hollow jaws. Lily showed me one sucking an aphid dry. They're sold in nurseries as beneficials. She calls them nature's special forces. 19. Dragonflies eat their weight in mosquitoes. Lily tracks them by the water. For wings, each moving independently. A dragonfly can intercept prey in midair with 95% accuracy, better than any fighter jet. One dragonfly can eat hundreds of mosquitoes a day. 20. Ground beetles patrol at night. Flip a log and they scatter. Black, fast, armored. Lily says they eat slug eggs, cutworms, and weed seeds. Farmers who stop tilling see more of them and use fewer chemicals. 21. Parasitoid wasps lay eggs in pests. It sounds brutal. It is. Lily doesn't flinch. A tiny wasp stings a tomato hornworm, injects eggs. The larvae eat the worm from inside, then spin cocoons on its back. The hornworm dies. The tomatoes live. 22. Ants farm aphids and still keep them in check. Lily admits it's complicated. Ants protect aphids for honeydew, but they also eat them when numbers rise. In orchards, ant presence can reduce other pests. They are not heroes or villains, she says. They're managers. The soil builders and plant partners. 23. Bees aren't the only ones that improve soil. When burrowing insects dig, they mix organic matter down and minerals up. Lily calls it Worth's slow smoothie. Roots grow deeper because of it. 24. Ants move more earth than earthworms in dry places. In deserts, Lily showed me, and hills made of excavated sand. Each grain was selected. They aerate soil where nothing else can. Seeds fall into their tunnels and sprout. 25. Cicada emergence feeds forests. Every 13 or 17 years, billions erupt. Birds gorge, trees get nitrogen from their bodies. Lily collects the shells. It's a pulse, she says. The forest sets its clock by them. 26. Leafcutter ants grow fungus farms. They don't eat leaves. They chew them into mulch for fungus gardens underground. Lily thinks it's the oldest agriculture, 50 million years before humans. The waste from their farms becomes rich soil. 27. Dung beetles reduce greenhouse gases. By burying dung, they prevent methane release. Lily read the study twice. They're not just janitors, she said. They're climate tech. The ecosystem services we forget. 28. Caddisfly larvae build with silk. In streams, they glue pebbles into cases. Lily says they are architects. Their presence means clean water. When they disappear, rivers are in trouble. 29. Mayflies feed the food web. They live one day as adults. In that day, they mate, lay eggs, and die. Fish, birds, and bats feast. Lily calls it the big exhale of the river. 30. Pollinators increase crop yields, not just existence. Blueberries with bees are 50% bigger. Lily weighed them. It's not just about having fruit, she said. It's about having enough. 31. Insects are food for 60% of bird species. Lily tracks warblers in spring. They time migration to caterpillar bloom. No caterpillars, no chicks. No chicks, silent forests. 32. Silkworms gave us trade routes. Lily held a silk scarf. A moth did this, she said. Bombyx mori changed economies, cultures, and art. We domesticated it 5,000 years ago. It no longer exists in the wild. 33. Lac bugs make shellac. The coating on pills and candy? It's from the secretion of Kerria lacquer. Lily licked a lemon drop and said, "You're tasting bug architecture." 34. Cochineal bugs dye things red. Crushed, they make carmine. Lily showed me lipstick, yogurt, and paint. The Aztecs paid taxes in them, she said. 1 pound takes 70,000 bugs. 35. Honey is bee vomit and math. Lily loves that sentence. Bees swallow nectar, regurgitate it, fan it with wings until it's 17% water. Then they cap it with wax. It never spoils. Archaeologists ate 3,000-year-old honey from Egyptian tombs. The unsung and misunderstood. 36. Wasps hunt pests too. We hate them at picnics. Lily reminds me they kill caterpillars, flies, and spiders for their young. A world without wasps is a world with more crop loss. 37. Earwigs eat decaying matter and aphids. Their pincers are for defense, not ears. Lily finds them in artichokes. They clean up, she says. Then they do pest control. Then we blame them. 38. Fireflies are beetles, and they're indicators. Their larvae eat slugs and snails. Adults signal with light. Lily says if you see fireflies, the stream and soil are healthy. Pesticides turn the lights off. 39. Termites help rainforests survive drought. Their mounds store water and nutrients. During dry years, plants near mounds stay green. Lily calls them desert oases in the jungle. 40. Mosquitoes feed fish and birds. Only females bite. Males drink nectar and pollinate. Lily won't defend the bite, but she defends the larvae. Without them, food webs collapse. The future keepers. 41. Native bees don't sting unless crushed. Lily lets mason bees land on her. They're solitary, no hive to defend. They pollinate 100 times more efficiently than honeybees for some crops. She drills holes in wood blocks for them. Hotels, she says. 42. Dung beetles were brought to Australia on purpose. Cattle arrived, but native beetles ignored cow dung. Pastures fouled. Scientists imported dung beetles in the 1960s. Lily says it's one of the few times we imported an insect and it worked. 43. Insects inspire robotics. Dragonfly flight, ant swarm logic, bee navigation, engineers copy them. Lily watched a robot bee fly. It's clumsy, she said. The original is better. 44. They're disappearing at 1 to 2% per year. Lily doesn't say this lightly. Lights, pesticides, habitat loss. When insects go, she says, we won't starve tomorrow. But the day after starts looking thin. 45. A meadow with 10 flower species supports 50 bee species. Diversity breeds diversity. Lily plants yarrow, aster, goldenrod. Not for me, she says. For the contractors. 46. Beetles make antibiotics. Burying beetles coat carrion in secretions that kill bacteria. Lily thinks the next miracle drug is in a beetle's gut. 47. Ants invented traffic lanes. No jams, no collisions. They alternate inbound and outbound columns. Lily watches them for an hour. We could learn, she says. 48. Pollination is worth $577 billion globally. Lily hates putting prices on nature. But she admits it helps. When people see the invoice, they start reading the contract. 49. Insects existed before dinosaurs. 400 million years. They survived 5 mass extinctions. Lily picks up a dragonfly and says, this design was flying before flowers existed. 50. The smallest can save the largest. Lily ended her notebook with this: a whale needs krill. Krill need algae. Algae need nutrients from insects that died upstream. The ocean is held up by 6 legs. I closed the notebook. Lily was already outside, kneeling again, watching a sweat bee climb into a squash blossom. She doesn't ask for thanks. She doesn't need anyone to name a species after her. She just wants us to notice the stage crew before the curtains fall. So I'm telling you. Because she taught me that discovery isn't about finding new things. It's about seeing the old things as if they were new. And in a world that's forgetting, that might be the most beneficial thing of all.